Now it's time for your predicted 11 for the Carabao Cup final, and I think we're all pretty set on what we think it's going to be. Other than Kepa being out, apparently there could be. So it doesn't say if he is going to be. We could be out Kepa. Without Kepa, who's obviously got a hamstring injury. In terms of the statistics here, I'll just read out the BBC match stats. Chelsea set to face City each other in the League Cup final for the first time. Both sides have won the trophy 5 times, with only Liverpool winning it more. Again, historical factors. This is the first ever meeting between Chelsea and Manchester City since the third round in 1993-94, when Brian Horton, the City side, won 1-0 at Main Road with a goal from David White. Excluding Community Shield matches, Chelsea and Manchester City have only met in the final of the competition on one previous occasion. That 1985-86 full Members' Cup final at Wembley. A 5-4 victory for Chelsea, which makes the highest scoring final in Wembley history. Manchester City 2018 winners of the League Cup against Arsenal are looking to become only the 4th team to retain the trophy after Manchester United, Liverpool and Nottingham Forest. And Chelsea have already lost 3 times at Wembley this season, losing in the Community Shield against Man City, in the Premier League and the League Cup semi-finals against Spurs. And I've just lost the stats, so we'll, for some reason my phone decided to play up, so I'll just leave it at that.
Please don't remind me of those other games at Wembley.
Unfortunately, I have to, my friend. So, gentlemen, how are we feeling? What's your lineup? What's your predictions? Talk to Daddy. Or the Godfather of Chelsea football. YouTube.
I think it's pretty quite predictable.
Yeah.
What's going to go, particularly with certain injuries.
The big Willie, who's everyone's daddy in goal.
Yep. I think David right back. We've got another option. I don't know if Zappa is he not still out, injured possibly, or was that just one game?
I think it was one game.
I don't think.
Would you seriously consider starting Zappa?
No.
Okay, so we're fine. David right back.
I've made a point for me the second worst player at our club.
Yeah. Okay. Centre half pairings.
Behind
Alonso.
Centre half pairings. What are you going for?
I think it's going to be Tony and David Luiz.
Yeah.
Those are only 2 sustainable options, and I think those are the only 2 options that Sarri's got in his mind. I don't see him playing Christensen.
Although he said Christensen is ready and he is challenging for David Luiz.
Yes, but he said the same again about Hudson-Odoi. And Hudson-Odoi before the Malmo game had played something ridiculous, like 19 minutes. 16 minutes since the beginning of Jan. So
we're going Rudiger and Luiz.
Yep.
Yeah.
Left back, Emerson or Alonso?
Emerson played the whole game against Malmo, and we've seen the last few games that haven't been like this month that Alonso's been playing the majority of them in the league, I believe.
Yeah.
Ever since the Bournemouth game.
I would start Emerson.
So would I, but I think we've seen the same pattern over and over.
Yeah.
I can't see him starting.
Who's your midfield 3?
We know 2 of them.
Kante and Jorginho.
Yep.
Yeah.
Certainty.
Kovacic or Barkley? Which one will be substituted at the 60th minute?
I think Barkley will start.
I found out an interesting stat the other day about that quickly.
Go on.
How many times do you think that substitution has happened so far this season?
22.
Yeah, close. 20 times. That's this season.
In the Premier League only?
Just in general.
Oh.
It's the most used substitution in the Premier League this season, isn't it?
Something like that. It was a stat they used on the Europa League game the other night.
Pedro and Williams like 18, I think. Between the two.
That's
But yeah, I think Barkley will play.
He went off after what? How many minutes? 60 minutes the other day.
75.
Yeah.
After he scored his free kick, so
it'll be him.
Yeah. Plus, I think as well, Kovacic out of the 2, I can see him dropping just because he didn't have the best game.
Yeah,
in that reduced the role.
100%.
Okay, so that's ours. And then the front 3, what are you going for? Hazard on the left, 100%.
Higuain up top.
Higuain up top. Does Hudson-Odoi walk into the team, or
he should do, but he won't. I think he'll be on the bench. But that's about it.
Pedro's fit. I'm guessing because what I read there is it's just that Pedro's fit now.
I still think he'll go on the bench. I think he'll do what he did against. Who was it? There was a game. It wasn't the last game. I think it was a game before Malmo. I think it was United. He played 2 wingers on the bench.
Okay.
So I think he'll do the same again.
All right.
So I think Williams starting.
Fun, invigorating, fresh.
And we can guess the subs.
Predicted lineups are so pointless now.
Yeah.
I mean, can you put that down to Richard Sorry though? The fact that we.
Yes. To some aspects, some aspects.
He hasn't got very many options except from that. Obviously, you've got the Loftus-Cheek.
He should be starting.
He should be starting. Hudson-Odoi should be starting, in my opinion. That's just my humble opinion, and I know that's shared by a lot of Chelsea supporters. I think if you were to include those two, I think we'd be a lot more positive and we'd be a lot more understanding of Sarri, that he hasn't got the squad that he wants, but he's actually trying different options. For me, if I'm trying to do something and it's not working, I change it. And I cannot, and most football managers do, I cannot see how he's going to continue putting out the same 11 week in, week out and getting our asses
Because
handed
they
to us.
understand the philosophy. But I think that's a load of...
The man is a stubborn old goat.
I think there's having a philosophy which is understandable. For me, the thing I look for in the manager is in-game management.
Yeah.
If you have a philosophy, fine. If you have a formation you use, if you have certain players you use, fine. For me, it all comes down to what are you going to do in-game if that's not working. We've seen it from the best in the world, wherever you go. Doesn't seem
if it was me, I'm parking up that pad quickly. If it was me, I would definitely consider another options. I think we need to just figure out what the thing would be. I would personally start a 4-2-3-1, and I agree. I mean, if it was my predicted lineup personally, I'd go for Caballero. Dave's the only right that we got. Personally, I think he should be playing at centre half.
Yeah.
But it's going to have to be there. I'd then go. I would start Emerson.
Yep.
Mainly just for some attacking prowess down this side.
Do you think that's
here.
a position that we need to be strengthening on over the summer?
Fullbacks in general are positions which Chelsea need to strengthen.
Even though it's Dave?
Yes.
Dave should be a part of the squad, 100%. People are saying he should be left out, we should sell him, blah, blah, blah. People could be saying, if you look at City, they got rid of Zabaleta, they got rid of all these other players, which didn't add much to the squad because of their age or whatever. Zabaleta's contract was running out, and they didn't renew it.
Yeah.
We're just giving Dave a new 5-year deal.
Yeah.
Problem is, Dave, how old is he?
29.
Dave could walk into most Premier League sides.
Exactly.
As a centre, I think you made the point. As a centre half, he could pretty much, with the exception of
That's
City, and with the exception of Tottenham.
That's the problem. He's not.
And Liverpool.
Yes, we want to keep him in the squad, but teams will pay decent money for Azpilicueta, and he's a footballer. He wants to be playing football. He loves Chelsea.
I would see him as a utility player, which we could have on the bench to bring on at any point. Sarri's big on making the same subs. If you had Azpilicueta on the bench, that's anyone who can play along your back line. That is not a player you sell. That is, I talk about players that do the donkey work and just do run of the mill stuff. You've got your Milners.
Yeah.
You've got your Bernardo Silva, to be fair, world class, but he does a lot of donkey work for City.
Slightly less years on him, but Maitland-Niles for Arsenal.
Maitland-Niles for Arsenal. You've got these players which are utility players which offer a lot. As much as people are saying he's not good possession, all this crap, if I'm honest. Look, Azpilicueta is good at relaying the ball. If he was at centre half and he had if Jorginho understood the system, because I play the two. If you had him at centre half, maybe, if you had Rudiger next to him to add the height, their distribution is not bad. They are Premier League players. You get the ball to Jorginho, which is what we're doing at the minute. Anyone who says it's not, you're going back on yourself, you're lying to yourself if you think that's not what's going on. You'd have a distribution to a quality a player which can start moves. You have Kante next to him, whose distribution is decent, and as a box-to-box player, he's come out today and said, I like the offensive roles, I like to get involved more. If you give Kante free roam to just do what he needs to do defensively and aid those attacks, which is what he does for France, which is what he did for Leicester, which is what he did for us on occasions in Conte's first season, I think that would work quite well. I think the biggest issue is if you look at fullback, there's a severe lack of pace.
There is. In the Premier League, we're getting caught out week in, week out.
And this is it. And I think Emerson is the lesser of two evils. There's no doubt. But Emerson is as a Conte signing, it wasn't a panic buy. Emerson was considered the second best left back in the Serie A before an ACL injury. Now ACL injuries take stuff off you. There's no doubt about that.
Zuma,
you've seen it already.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a case of look, if we do get the transfer window, we need to. That is the main position we need to strengthen, as well as potentially for me another central midfielder and a centre forward. There's a lot of work that needs to be done. But I think for this game in general, Emerson would start to add that pace. If Zabacosta's on the bench, look, if we need to have a bit of pace, he may be the second worst player at the club. If you need injection of pace on that right hand side, as much as he may not be technically gifted, look, if you've got to do, you've got to do. If you've got to win, look, I understand that attacking players will take priority. The substitution when he brought Zappa Costa on against Man United, it was illogical because I think everyone thought Aspilicueta had an injury because he looked like he had a niggling one.
Yeah.
But then he came off and sat on the bench. So I mean, we don't know what happened. He could have gone into the dressing room and got treatment.
Yes.
Because there was only a few minutes left of the game, so he could have been sitting there saying, "I'm just going to wait it out." In terms of the centre halves of this, I think there is no contest. Well, when I say no contest, I mean there's no other options really apart from Luiz and Rudiger. I want to talk a bit about Rudiger quickly because he's come under a lot of flack from a lot of fans for seasons. I mean, if you look on Twitter this year and last year, people consider him poor, not the best technically, not the most gifted, not useful as a Chelsea player. Why? Can you see why they do it? Because I don't understand.
For me, it kind of comes back to saying what you talk about Aspilicueta. As a defender, first and foremost, I want them to defend.
Yeah.
I couldn't give a monkeys if they can pass the ball, if they can put a 50-yard pass, if they can skill an attacker on his arse. I want him to defend. And that's the main thing. He is good at defending. He hasn't got the technical ability that Sarri likes, fair enough, but he can defend.
And this is it, I think that's him. And then obviously you've got Luiz next to him as that option, which is the... Like I was saying yesterday, you could get Paolo Maldini or Sideshow Bob. It really depends who turns up tomorrow against Manchester City.
If he turns up, we're not in a bad shape.
No, but that's the if.
Yeah.
Would you renew David Luiz's contract? 1 year left? Or would you come to the end of the season? Would you renew it?
I think he's a character in the team, which I always say week in, week out. We need more characters, we need more souls. So, yes, in terms of a squad player. Well, how old is he now?
31, 32.
It's Chelsea's policy, and this won't change. It'll be a 1 year rolling contract.
Okay, so obviously leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. Do you believe that we should be giving David Luiz a longer contract? Obviously, this is a predicted 11 show, but it's good to just dissect it and figure out more and actually prove to people I know what I'm talking about with football. What next time I think we should do is we should get the camera up here and we can do the tactics board.
Yeah.
Okay, look at me.
Sort that out.
They call me Mike Bassett for a reading, ladies and gents. But yeah, so I mean, the options that we currently have: Aspilicueta. Personally, I think we start Emerson. Obviously, this is the line we'd want to see. But just to reinforce the line that we're probably going to see is Willy Caballero, Alonso, Aspilicueta, Luiz, and Rudiger. So not much different on the back line so far.
Sure.
Moving into midfield, we're seeing Jorginho, Kante, and we're seeing Ross Barkley. Right. This is where I completely changed the system. Now, for me, because of the options we have, I think Jorginho, as a player to start attacks and move the ball, he goes in. But this is based on his short passing. When you speak to Napoli fans, which I've spoken to many of, and they all say the same thing, Jorginho's vision is shocking. He's good. He's not someone who's going to ping a 50-yard pass.
I want to put this out there. People say, I can't see people say that my main criticism of him is lack of assists, lack of creativity. And I hear a lot of people say we've had a lot of criticism on the channel from other people saying that's not his role. What is it then? You talk about this part that got to start attacks, but some of that requires assists. At Napoli, Allen, who I'd not say, I didn't watch a lot of him, but I'd not say his passing ability was incredible, was I think 1 assist behind him across the whole year.
So,
and Ederson has
Alan.
2 season.
I know, but this is right. So this is where I'm going to raise that point and place it carefully. This is where I feel that a 4-2-3-1 is a system that we need to see at Chelsea. Because, like I'm saying, Jorginho's shut up, fine, I don't like you.
Both of us.
Oh, both of us come to Chelsea. God! Some
So
of you,
popular.
why do you like us? God! I mean, a lot of people do ask that question, why people like us. It's because we're good at what we do. So, if you look at the options that I've drawn here, so you have Jorginho. Jorginho's passing is short, starting off the moves. That is what he does. He's not a player. They're saying there's a lack of movement. There's this, that. There is. There's no doubt about it. But if your whole system relies on people moving, and you've got a £50 million player who's your captain on the pitch, who understands the system, he should be telling those people to move. Now, but this is where, so if Jorginho's passing short, like that, just for the sake of argument, just do that, little short ones there. You have Kante as a player who is defensively there to help in front of this back line here, but as someone who's you're going to be finding here, doing whatever. If you had and if you had a fullback which understood the system, well not understood the system, but had a bit of pace about him, your players can bomb forward there. So he can move the ball out here. We would have Emerson, for example, on this side. He can move the ball out wide to him. You'd have the movement. You'd have the possession-based football. You'd have fullbacks here and wingers a bit further up here.
Yeah. With
the attackers as the focal point. Now, in terms of who sits in front of these two, because we've already spoken about Kante, we've spoken about Jorginho. Kante is already like he wants to be part of those offensive moves. And we saw against Malmo that he's fully capable of coming from a deep line position, moving the ball forward, driving, and giving us options. The person in front of them, for me, and it has to be him, it 100% has to be, just for the sake of it, Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Now, as a player, he's not number 10. He's not quite an auxiliary forward either. But he's someone who likes to drift, understand the stuff. We're talking about free roam. Kante's going to be there. I'd say Kante has the main drive of that with the middle of the pitch. Maybe just eking into the final third just a little bit. Basically, he's going to be your box-to-box. Ruben Loftus-Cheek is someone who can go on to the left, carry the ball in. You'd have wingers coming on the inside. You'd have this. You kind of have this. Is obviously the dream scenario, and he's got a physical presence, which is a big thing. If you had him in the middle, and we saw against Manchester City previously that he's fully capable of moving the ball, of driving it defensive, of causing them issues because they want to play the ball out from the back. If you have someone who's willing to press alongside wingers and a centre forward, you're going to cause that back four issues or that back line in general. So, in my opinion, it has to be him starting, and I'd start him tomorrow just to do this. Like I said, I'm not expecting us to go out and win this game. This, for me, would be an example for us to test what a full strength 11 would be. If I was Mauricio Sarri right now, I'd be sitting down going, right, I want to test this system and see how this works. I've been training it for a couple of weeks now. I think Ruben Loftus-Cheek, I think the biggest issue with him is his injuries. That is what is always going to hinder him. I think that back injury is something which can niggle him through his entire career. He's had it for 2-3 years now. Yeah. It's something that's going to be there. But in terms of the winger options, left-hand side for this game, obviously, talisman, Eden Hazard.
Yep.
Because we need him.
He needs to turn up tomorrow.
Again, the issue here is it's free roam. But if you have that, like I'm saying about talking about free roam, and people are saying, why would you have 2-3 players free roaming here? If you look at how Chelsea have played previously, over the past few years, understandably, it's not exactly what people have wanted to sort of say, we want the players to express themselves a bit more, they need to know what's going on. But the front three, or the wingers in general, have been interchangeable on any occasion. You see Hazard and Pedro swap wings, Hazard and Willian, you're bringing people across. The beauty of having Loftus-Cheek as a number 10, just behind, you can have Hazard float into number 10 position, Loftus-Cheek comes out here. You can have Willian, whoever's on this right-hand side, doing the same thing, just constant interchanges. And I think we're talking about a lack of movement and a lack of footballing mentality.
Yeah.
Eden Hazard's probably got one of the best football brains on the planet.
Agreed.
The way, and people saying he should be scoring more goals when we were talking about the creativity issue in terms of he makes space but he doesn't score enough goals. That means he's not world class. To be world class, it really depends on what variables you have involved. Mm-hmm. Scoring goals is not Eden Hazard's main thing. Mm-hmm. His main thing is, funnily enough, creating the space for other players to run into. Now, Loftus-Cheek is a player which prides himself on moving and being positive in his movements, moving into those spaces. The same goes for Willian, obviously maybe not so much now, but previously. Pedro likes to gravitate into those spaces as well. Hudson-Odoi, again, maybe not quite yet, but he's not got the footballing brain just yet, but you can tell that there's definitely something in there. And that's someone who needs to start. 100%. I'd be sitting there going, you have two youth players in the setup. You could even argue, even though he may not be as good as David Luiz yet, he's only 22 years old, bearing in mind he's only a year older than the three of us. Christensen is another player, which I think, that's not his number, 27, that's it, 27. Christensen is another player who could easily fill in this role of what David Luiz does. He just needs the time, he needs the confidence, and he needs the boost. But Hudson-Odoi is that player you could drive. You've got two players you can drive here, you've got two players that can interchange, one who creates space wherever he wants to go, and then you have a number 9 here, whoever it is next year, but right now, that is Gonzalo Higuain, who makes some very intelligent runs. If you want someone who has those intelligent runs, a run in the box, you have someone who can cross here, you have someone who creates space for other players who like to cross go here, blah, 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 blah. There's options, that's how you play, and you can still move the ball very quickly there. Yes, you want to play with very short passes and manoeuvrability, but if you want that manoeuvrability, you have to change it. You have to work to the strengths, and for me, these are the strengths that we have, because we create the spaces. The biggest issue is still going to be defensively, because can Kante get up and down? He might have to be a bit more regimented than he wants to do, He's not doing it. Go on.
But one thing that I think I've noticed, and it helps with this, that I've noticed
Should I
with...
just show the screen my squad?
No, I'll flash it up.
One thing I've noticed with our team, and we've seen it a few times with... we saw it with Tottenham and a few other teams. Playing like that, if we play against Manchester City, the one thing that I noticed a bit, but I noticed about our team is that Fernandinho gets the ball a lot. Because he's dropping a bit deeper, he gets the ball, it allows him to play out. If we had Loftus-Cheek playing where he is, he could do what Herrera did and Ali did for Jorginho, stay on him, give him a bit of pressure.
And in terms of physicality, there's no one else I'd rather have in terms of that midfield. Kovacic arguably could do it, but you have to be very regimented with what he does.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I think the other thing with him is, we're talking about these short passes, you cannot play, from my opinion, you can't play Jorginho and Kovacic in the same team, because they do the same thing. That is the person who should be coming off the bench.
Yeah.
Mateo Kovacic is the man who comes off to, if you want to put him into that, you can switch it to sit back to a 4-3-3. And for me, you need to go on the front foot with these type of movements. You need to be direct, you need to be physical, you need to be powerful. And I think it's kind of a case of you can still intertwine the two systems which Chelsea have used in the past. But in terms of Jorginho's role, if I was wanting to see a game out, that's someone who I'd bring off. And then I'd sit there and say, bring in Kovacic, see the game out, keep the physicality there.
On that basis, do you sign Kovacic in the summer? Obviously, he's a loan. We do have the option to buy, which I believe wouldn't be influenced because it wouldn't be impacted from the...
We don't have an option.
It's not an option to buy. It was part of the Courtois deal.
Fine.
It wasn't part of the Courtois deal, it's two separate deals.
Oh, fair enough, I thought it was.
So we don't have an option to buy, but Real Madrid's offer is, they want 70 million roughly, I believe. So with a 70 million valuation, for someone who's going to sit on your bench, no chance. I think for me, there's players that's come in, you've got Mason Mount who can play there. Reece James, someone who's proved his distribution at Wigan potentially. I mean, you've got to look for this transfer ban and figure it out. You know, this guy plays at right back, plays at centre half, he plays at defensive midfield. You know, he's got capabilities and he's proven all those points. You know, Chelsea have options, but this is why I'm saying, obviously, realistically, Hazard's not going to be in the summer. So, positions we need to strengthen are left wing, full backs, midfield, and a centre forward.
Yeah.
Ironically, that's 5 positions. You're not going to get decent players for 100 million. So that 100 million is going to come in. We're going to have the likes of Pulisic coming in, but
you can probably take Higuain out. I think for a year, he's not a bad option to have.
No.
For a year, no. But I think the options are.
Then it allows us to put more money elsewhere.
Well, I mean, if we do sign a Cardi, which is what's being touted at the moment, you've got a player who's got very intelligent movement again. It's unlikely, but the reason I'm talking about it is because it is heavily touted. Yeah. There is a lot of talk about it. I'm not going to sit here and say we're going to sign him because there's a 60% chance we're not going to. But for me, this is how I play the system. It's there's a lot more durability there, and I think with the players that we have, the physicality that can be present, I think that's important. You need to have that. You have the defence for a player who can move the ball out quickly. It's just a case of changing that midfield shape and inverting it. Mm-hmm. So I think it's a case of you just have one. Again, Loftus-Cheek is a player that can move the ball and intelligently, but is also fully capable of doing the donkey work. You saw him do it for England at the World Cup, where he just held the ball in the corner, he moved the ball well. He's very intelligent when he's on the ball. Eden Hazard, we will miss him, but we have to look at this as realistically as he probably will leave. But right now, the team I play for the cup final, obviously in longevity reasons, you wouldn't have Willy Caballero, you'd have Kepa. But the team for the cup final for me, if I was to pick it, it would be a 4-2-3-1. It would be Willy Caballero in goal, Emerson at left back, Dave at right back, Luiz and Rudiger as the two in the centre half pairing. I play Kante and Jorginho together just to have that little bit more manoeuvrability in front of the defence, and obviously this is a big game in terms of that. I play Ruben Loftus-Cheek at 10, but he probably wouldn't play as a 10. He plays, I don't even know what you call that position as a name for it, but I've forgotten. I play Hudson-Odoi, take him off, bring on a Pedro, bring on a Willian if Pedro's fit. Personally, I bring on Pedro and play him in behind instead, and then move Ruben Loftus-Cheek out wide. Hazard at the 10, Gonzalo Higuain as your centre forward, and then the bench. Look, there are some players there, but I understand we're independent philosophy, but for me, I want to go out and win games, and I think that is your best options right now. And I think a lot of people would agree with that. But what do you think of that? Yeah.
Yeah, I completely.
It is a bit scribbly, but
it'll be flashed up on the screen now.
No, but yeah, That's our lineup. Happy with that?
Yeah.
Right, move on to the predictions quickly. We've got 4 minutes left of time on that one, so we need to do it quick. Go on, score predictions.
1-1 draw, win on pens.
Yeah?
It's going to be positive.
My heart's telling me we'll win on pens. My head's telling me we'll probably lose about 3-1. Hoping we can get a goal. Look, all I care about is if we give it a go. That's all I really, really care.
Yeah.
If we come off the pitch and we've given it a go, are we happy?
I'm gonna. My heart is 1-1 and on pens. My head again is 3-1 to Man City. But I'm only saying that because I think the system that we're going to play is not going to be durable.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be the biggest issue. But yeah, listen, that is your match day predictions, your match day build-up show for Chelsea versus Manchester City in the Carabao Cup. A 4 o'clock kickoff. It's 4 o'clock tomorrow.
Yes, it is. 4 o'clock kickoff.
4 o'clock kickoff at Wembley Stadium. Just make sure you tune in back to Home to Chelsea for post-game analysis, fan cams, sofa review, player ratings, Twitter reacts, all that good stuff. And obviously make sure you check out Lawrence's review as well. And if you like this concept with the cameras and how it is going to change a little bit more, but I think we found what we're going to be doing. But yeah, guys, listen, thank you very much for watching. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, make sure you follow us on all our socials, all the personals will be down below as well, and we will see you later. Ta-ra.